According to a 2023 report by the National Institute on Aging, fewer than half of Canadians have a will. There are some provincial campaigns encouraging Canadians to make or update their wills in the month of October. And to share some insight into wills and estates, I'm joined this morning by Eleanor Carlson and Christina Hassan, partners and co-chairs of the Wills and Estates Group at Carbert Waite LLP. Good morning, ladies. Great to have you in studio.
Morning.
You know what? I'm going to start with you, Christina, just about wills and the significance of having one. Why is it important?
A will can bring clarity and peace of mind to someone when they draft it. We name an executor, we name guardians for minor children, and we plan for things that might happen when we pass away, both the good things and perhaps disputes and things that could crop up after we pass away.
For sure. And then, Eleanor, what happens with the person's assets if they do not have a will?
So in Alberta, if you pass away without a will, we're in the land of intestacy, and Alberta legislation directs where the distribution of assets will go. And so they're looking around the deceased person, looking at those relationships, whether they're spouses, partners, children, and if we're outside of that area, we're looking towards parents and towards family members more generally. But what ends up happening is that's not always what the will maker or the lack of will maker would have wanted. And that's particularly, we see a lot of conflict into what the intentions might have been in situations of blended families or minor children, or when someone has relationships in limbo, like they're going through a divorce or a separation, or they're entering into a new relationship. What the legislation might prescribe is different than what they might intend.
It can be a very layered process for sure with, everybody has a unique family dynamic. Christina, what are some of those common misconceptions that we see when it comes to this type of estate planning?
There are many misconceptions. Some of the ones we see the most is, well, I don't have any money. I don't need to make a plan. But it's not just about wealth. It's about decision-making and control. Who's the executor? Who's going to make funeral decisions? Right. Who's going to make decisions about guardians? There are lots of different reasons. The other misconception is, well, I'm really young. I'm not planning on passing away anytime soon. Well, we all know that we can't plan around that. And the best idea is to have a plan when you have, you just bought your first home, or you've had a child, or, there's a time and place to do it that's not, on a hospital bed or after a large, big diagnosis.
That brings me to my last question here, Eleanor. You kind of touched upon it earlier too, just about, those family dynamics and how they can be complicated sometimes. So just how do families handle those disagreements over an estate?
Yeah, so even with a good estate plan, sometimes that isn't enough, really. So we see conflict arise in the circumstances where a willmaker passes away, just because, of course, when someone passes, we have elevated stress, we have grief, we have unresolved tensions that kind of come to the surface. And so what we're seeing, even with a great estate plan, is we're seeing challenges against that estate planning, whether it's beneficiaries questioning the will maker for their capacity. Did they have a good understanding of their assets? Was everything done and according to what they wanted? And unfortunately, an estate plan is usually something we can't do once. We need to be reflective about the process. So we really value the education part of it with our clients. They need to know what their documents say and how they work, so they need to know when they need to update them, so we can avoid some of that potential conflict that may arise just from the dynamics changing. And if we are going towards that litigation or in that administration process where we see issues, it's that education, it's that knowledge, it's having a legal advisor so you know your rights if you're a beneficiary, your responsibilities if you're a personal representative, and that can really mitigate some of that conflict. And kind of open the lines of communication, which can divert us from litigation. And if we're in litigation, it's having knowledge about the process and hopefully not having it extend for years, which really is an unfortunate outcome if someone passes away if we're in that court situation.
Ladies, thank you both so much for coming in today. It's such a wealth of information. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. And of course, Eleanor Carlson and Christina Hassan are partners and co-chairs of the Wills and Estates Group at Carbert Waite LLP. If you want more information, head to carbertwaite.com.